in this video, I'm going to show you how we keep a 96.3% show up rate month after month. This is for high ticket fitness coaching, and this is the average that we've had over 4 months with hundreds of calls and the average over 2 offers. So on one of the offers, we have a 1.6% no-show rate, and on the other one, we have a 5.8% no-show rate, which turns out to be 96.3% show rate. And by having a good show rate, obviously that maximizes your potential on sales calls, and with all of the leads that you're actually booking in, saves you time and also allows you to obviously close more deals. As you can see, just yesterday we had a 3.5k cash collected day. That's pounds, so around 4.5k USD. And then in the last 5 days, we've had 8k cash collected, pounds again. So like I said, you want to have a as good show rate as possible, and I'm about to break down everything that you need to actually make that happen. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, you need to generate traffic. So I'm not going to go into detail about how we generate traffic in this video, but you can watch my other videos where I break that down. But essentially, we send the traffic to the VSL or to the IG DMs where we have an appointment setter. And from there, obviously, they have a conversation, we qualify them, they check out the VSL, and we send them to a booking page where they are able to book an appointment. We have a form with some questions, which I'm going to go into later. And then from there, the first step to make them show up is to have a thank you page with some information. So essentially what you want to do with these leads is you want to make sure that they have no confusion, they don't have any questions, and they know exactly what to expect and what they need to do to actually show up to the call and what we need them to do to prepare for the call in advance. So this is just a screen share of our thank you page and basically what we give the leads right after they book. And also we're going to send this to them later in the steps. And essentially what we're trying to do is just like I said, eliminate any confusions. We have a quick video explaining the next few steps, what they can expect before the call and stuff like that. And then we also write this below here. So as you can see, we give them some information. So you'll receive reminders leading up to the call on email and SMS. The Zoom link will be sent to you on your email before the call. So again, just eliminating any confusion. And if people haven't, especially with B2C, if people haven't used Zoom before, they might not understand how to join the meeting and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that they understand like the next few steps and kind of how to join the meeting, what the meeting is going to be about and stuff like that, which we also later in the steps, I'm going to show you how we make sure that they actually get the Zoom link. And from there, we also tell them to bring a pen and a piece of paper to the call. And this is actually a hack because people actually show up with a pen and a paper on the call, and it just sets the tone for, the entire sales call where people show up, they pay attention, they have a pen and a paper ready to take notes, and it just sets the authority of the call where, they are already in a state of like taking notes and whatever. And then from there, we just tell them, please take the call in a quiet location, free of distractions. Do not attend the call via your phone or in your car. Do not attend the call at work or a lunch break, and do not attend the call in a noisy environment. So basically, we're just giving them 4 points, which basically is the same point, which is, don't take this call if you can't pay attention. Make sure you're on your laptop. Make sure you are paying attention. Make sure you don't have a lot of things going on, because when you're on the sales call, you want the lead to actually be able to pay attention to you. So with these things in place, we've had people, cancel the call because they can't take the call outside of their car, for example. And that's perfect because you don't want to be on a sales call with a lead who's in their car or anything like that. And the last thing, obviously, we tell them we do not offer reschedules if you don't show up. If you need to reschedule, please let us know in advance. So we basically set the tone where it's like, hey, if you need to do any changes, let us know. And we also send them on the reminders the reschedule, cancel link, whatever. And then from there, obviously, we now have gotten their form. We know if they're qualified or not based off of the questions. And if they're not qualified, we have the setter reach out to them. So the setter reaches out to them in both of these cases, but the setter reaches out to them and essentially just qualifies them a little bit more based off of the questions. Make sure that, the questions they put in were actually, legit, because sometimes people misclick. So we've actually had people, that seem to be a DQ, but they're actually qualified. They just misclicked on the actual form. So if they're still qualified, they're good to go. We take them over to qualified and continue. If they're a DQ, we cancel the call. And from here, you can still close some of these guys on let's say a low ticket MRR type of like deal. You can give them some free value if they're not a good fit, or if they're very interested and they just don't have the finances, you can also downsell them. So these are some examples of like downsells, and this just maximizes the amount of money you're able to cash, because if people don't have money for a high ticket but they're really interested, you can still close them on, like I said, just a MRR downsell. That's essentially how we do it. And then obviously if they are qualified, the setter still reaches out to them or like I said, if they put in the wrong information on their form, they're still qualified. And then from there, they receive the reminders, obviously. Now, we don't have a whole lot of reminders. I'm going to touch on that in just a second. It kind of depends on the offer that you're on, but you don't want to have too many. You don't want to annoy people and you just spam them. You want to have the minimum amount of reminders that you need to actually make them show up. So we have immediate after they book, they just get the information, stuff like that. Make sure that they understand the appointment is successfully booked. And then 24 hours, email and text. And then 1 hour before, email and text. And they get the Zoom link as well. So again, no confusion. They know what they can expect. And we also on the 24-hour before, we send them back to the VSL or any, sales assets, social proof that we can send them. And then from here, like I said, the setter has reached out to them on IG, and now we just want to kind of warm them up, ask some questions based off of the stuff that they set on the form. Maybe you need to ask some more questions to further qualify them. Just kind of break the ice, sound like you care, and whatever. So let's say somebody booked in via the VSL. You don't just want to, wait until the call and have reminders. You want to actually have a human touch point. So that's why the setter reaches out. And then if they booked in via the DMs, for example, like the setter actually spoke to them, actually booked them in, we don't want to just stop the conversation as soon as they booked in, send the VSL. It's very salesy, where it's like, okay, so you just spoke to me to get me to book in. We actually have a step where we kind of warm them up. We do this if they book in themselves or, if the setter already spoke to them and booked them in. Ask some follow-up questions about the stuff they said in the form, their job, whatever. You can also go further in the qualification, get some more information from them, stuff like that. And then from there, we ask them for their physique photos. So like I said, this is a fitness offer. And this is actually a very good step because we want them to essentially be as committed as possible and kind of take some steps towards us, already kind of engaging in the help that they're kind of seeking. And by sending some physique photos, you also kind of break some of the sales tension where it doesn't really seem like you're just in it to kind of sell them, but you're actually caring already. So the first impression is that, already I'm sending physique photos to this guy. Sounds very serious. Had a conversation with him on IG. It seems like he cares, whatever. And also the person doing the sales calls can pull up their physique photos on the actual sales call and show them visually where they're at currently, show them the other client, transformations and whatever. And essentially just have them be more visually engaged on the actual sales call. And these are some examples of the physique photos that we actually get them. So as you can see, just the setter gives a breakdown of what actually happened in the DMs. This is also a good example of just having a convo with people. So asking about their job, blah, 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 cracking a joke, whatever. We don't want to just stop the conversation as soon as they book in. You want to have a few steps to make sure that you kind of connect with them. Like I said, making sure that, they feel like we're actually caring and we actually want to help them. And obviously this is a fitness offer. I would say this makes the most sense in fitness because obviously their physique photos are very linked to kind of what we are going to be helping them with. And it makes sense for them as well to send these pictures before we actually are going to have a call together, whatever. But you can also do this in other niches. Basically, you just want to keep them committed. They send some stuff to you. Like I said, they show up with a pen and a paper. It just kind of sets the tone for the call. And it breaks also some of the sales side, sales pressure. So you don't really, it doesn't seem like you're just trying to sell them and get them on a call and close them. And then from there, we have a confirmation. So this is a actual confirmation in the DMs with the setter. So they reach out to them and make sure that, they actually have watched the VSL. They're actually good to go. They actually got the Zoom link. We do this 24 hours before and 1 hour before the call. So at this point, they basically don't have any option. They've sent physique photos. They've seen the video. They know what to expect. They know that we don't tolerate no-shows. And they've had 2 confirmations that they're actually going to be present. And they've also received links to reschedule if they need to. So at this point, we've basically done everything that we need to make sure that they show up. So that's what we do. And I also want to mention this, we don't do this currently, but it depends on the offer. We have a very professional offer with, older men. They're very serious, stuff like that. So we don't really need too many steps to make sure that everything is, clear. We kind of do most of the stuff through IG. But what you can do is obviously if you have a closer, for example, you kind of want to introduce the closer. You kind of want to make sure that they are qualified depending on the offer. Let's say you have e-com and you're dealing with younger people, stuff like that. You want to make sure that, maybe you have a triage call with them. Maybe you have a WhatsApp group with the client, with the closer, introduce the closer, stuff like that. So at this point, they should show up, right? And in the rare case that they don't show up, we have the setter reach out to them or whoever is on the call, just reach out to them and be like, hey, are you jumping on? Sometimes they're just late. And if they don't show up, actually, we don't get any reply. We just make sure that they're serious, send a voice note. from the client and whatever. And if they're not serious, like we don't really bother rescheduling them. But if they are serious and they just missed like whatever, something came up, we reschedule them. And obviously, if not, we just put them into the email flow. We give them more value. They get back into content, whatever. And then if they show, obviously, like if it's close. If it's not a close, then we, again, just take them back into email flow, content, whatever. So this is essentially everything that we do to make sure that we have the best possible show rate and even maximize the amount of cash that we're able to get from each lead that we book in. Because like I said, even if they're not qualified, in many cases, you can still get them on like an MRR type of offer, like a downsell. So that's it. That's honestly everything that we do. Just making sure that everything is clear, setting the right expectations from the beginning, making sure that they know what to do if they need to reschedule, what not to do, how to show up, how to prepare, and also having some human touch points. So we make sure like we double check that they actually have the Zoom link, they've seen the sales assets. And then also, like I said, with physique photos, getting them to actually engage in somewhat way before the actual call. Make sure that they actually understand that we care and we're actually here to help them, not just sell them. So that's what I would say. And by the way, if you want any help to implement this into your business, everything from traffic to sales to everything you need basically to scale up your offer and obviously get results like this, then check out the link in the description. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we can help. So with that being said, subscribe and I'll catch you guys in the next one.